Imagine a garden that grows healthier and more flavorful crops than you ever thought possible, and not with fancy fertilizers, plastic gadgets, or buzzing machines, but with simple, timeless techniques passed down for generations. That's exactly what the Amish have been doing. For centuries, Amish communities across North America have quietly mastered the art of sustainable gardening, completely off the grid. No power tools, no artificial boosters, just pure natural skill and a deep relationship with the land. In this video, I'm going to reveal 20 genius Amish gardening hacks that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about growing your own food. Whether you have a backyard, a balcony, or a full homestead, these tips are practical, proven, and incredibly powerful. So grab a cup of tea, take some notes, and stick around till the end, because hack number 20 is the one that ties it all together. Let's dig in. Hack 1. Raised beds from untreated wood. The Amish are big fans of raised beds, but not the kind you buy online with screws, bolts, and plastic corners. They build them themselves using natural, untreated wood like cedar, pine, or oak, often harvested from their own land. Raised beds are popular among the Amish because they warm up faster in spring, offer better drainage during heavy rains, and keep the soil loose, aerated, and easy to work with. They also make crop rotation much more efficient. But Amish raised beds aren't just built and left alone. They're carefully maintained. After each season, they're replenished with aged manure, straw, compost, and sometimes wood ash to keep the soil rich and healthy. Placement matters too. Most Amish gardeners align their beds from north to south to ensure even sunlight reaches all sides throughout the day. If you've ever dealt with soggy soil, weak roots, or persistent weeds, switching to Amish-style raised beds might be the solution. Hack 2. Layered composting with horse manure. Most people know about composting, but the Amish take it a step further with a method called layered composting. They often use horse manure as a rich, nitrogen-filled base. Instead of using plastic bins, they build large open piles in the corner of their gardens. These piles are made in layers, starting with dry brown materials like straw or leaves, then adding green materials like vegetable scraps or grass clippings, followed by a layer of aged manure. They repeat this layering process several times. During winter, the pile is left to rest, and they turn it every few weeks with a pitchfork to let air in and help it break down evenly. They don't use fancy compost bins or chemical starters, just time and natural materials. Sometimes chickens roam freely around the compost, scratching and turning it while eating bugs and helping the pile decompose faster. By spring, this compost turns into dark, crumbly soil that smells fresh and is full of nutrients. Hack 3. Companion planting that actually works. The Amish don't use pesticides. Instead, they depend on companion planting, growing certain plants together so they support and protect each other. For example, tomatoes grow well with basil, which helps keep away whiteflies and even makes tomatoes taste better. Corn, beans, and squash, known as the Three Sisters, are planted together too. Corn gives beans something to climb, beans add nitrogen to the soil, and squash covers the ground to stop weeds. Carrots and onions are another smart pair. The onion's strong smell confuses pests that attack carrots. Cabbage is often planted with dill, which attracts helpful insects that eat cabbage worms. The Amish don't rely on charts or gardening apps. They learn by observing, remembering, and passing down knowledge through generations. Companion planting also helps improve soil and boost crop yields. Hack 4. Gravity-fed rainwater barrels. When you live off the grid, saving water is very important. The Amish collect and reuse rainwater to keep their gardens healthy, especially during dry weather. They set up simple systems using metal or wood gutters attached to barns, sheds, or houses. The rainwater flows into barrels made of wood or plastic, which are placed a bit higher off the ground, so gravity can help move the water into watering cans or hoses. There are no electric pumps or city water connections, just rainwater used wisely. Rainwater is also better for plants than tap water because it doesn't have chlorine or fluoride, which can harm sensitive crops. Some Amish even add overflow pipes that direct extra water to parts of the garden that need it most. It's an easy, low-cost system that saves water and energy. If you want to cut down your water bill or garden in a more eco-friendly way, this is a great method to try. Hack 5. Natural insect spray using garlic and cayenne. When bugs start eating their plants, the Amish don't use chemicals. Instead, they make a natural insect spray using garlic and cayenne pepper. They mix 5 garlic cloves 1 tablespoon of cayenne powder, and a quart of warm water. After letting it sit overnight, they strain the liquid and pour it into a spray bottle. Sometimes they add a little dish soap to help it stick to the leaves. This strong-smelling spray keeps away pests like aphids, caterpillars, whiteflies, and even rabbits. Because it's made from natural kitchen items, it's safe for the soil and won't hurt bees or other good insects if used properly. The Amish usually spray it early in the morning or in the evening to avoid burning the plants in the sun. For them, pest control is not about fighting nature, but working with it. If pests are ruining your garden, this simple homemade spray might be all you need. Hack 6. Soap shavings to deter rabbits and squirrels. If you've ever planted lettuce and found it eaten overnight, you're not alone. The Amish also deal with animals like rabbits, squirrels, and groundhogs, but they don't use poison, traps, or fences. Instead, they use strong scented soap. They grate bars of bold-smelling soap like Irish Spring or homemade lye soap into small shavings and sprinkle them around the edges of the garden or between rows of crops. The strong smell confuses animals and hides the scent of the vegetables, making them think a predator might be nearby. This method is safe for pets and children, cheap, and easy to apply. It only needs to be reapplied after heavy rain. Some Amish even hang pieces of soap in mesh bags from low branches or posts to keep deer and raccoons away. It might sound simple, but in Amish gardens, the simplest tricks often work the best. Hack 7. Use heirloom seeds passed down generations. Amish gardens are rooted in tradition, and that includes the seeds they plant. Instead of buying new seed packets every year, the Amish save and replant heirloom seeds, non-hybrid, non-GMO varieties passed down through generations. These seeds are special because they grow well in local climates, often taste better, and can be saved and replanted year after year. They also help keep plant diversity alive. Many Amish families have their own favorite types of tomatoes, corn, or beans, which they dry, label, and store carefully at the end of each season. Some of these seed lines are over 100 years old and are known for their strength and ability to survive tough weather. Modern gardeners can follow this example by saving seeds from open-pollinated plants, labeling them clearly with the name and date, and storing them in a cool, dry, dark place. By doing this, you're not just growing food, you're carrying on a living tradition. Hack 8. Use only hand tools to protect soil and soul. In Amish gardens, you won't find loud machines like rototillers or electric trimmers. They use only hand tools because machines can press down the soil too much, disturb helpful microbes, and make people rush jobs that need care. The tools they commonly use include hoes, broad forks, garden knives, rakes, and hand seeders. These tools are often handed down through generations or made by local blacksmiths. Amish gardeners take good care of them. Each winter, they smooth the handles, oil the wood, and sharpen the blades by hand. Using hand tools also means they spend more time close to their plants, which helps them spot problems like pests or disease early. This slow, careful way of gardening helps them stay connected to the land. For the Amish, it's not just about growing food. It's also about finding peace and rhythm in the work. And yes, it's good exercise too. If you feel tired or overwhelmed by gardening, maybe it's time to put away the machines and try it the old-fashioned way, with your hands and heart. Hack 9. Mulch heavily with straw for moisture and weed control. One of the first things you'll see in an Amish garden is straw, spread almost everywhere. They don't use plastic mulch, weed mats, or landscape fabric. Instead, they cover the soil with straw from their barns or fields. Straw helps in many ways. It keeps the soil moist during dry weather, protects roots from extreme heat or cold, blocks sunlight to stop weeds from growing, and breaks down over time to make the soil richer. The Amish usually spread a thick layer of straw, about 3 to 6 inches in early spring once the crops begin to grow. They place it between rows, under tomato plants, around strawberries, cucumbers, and more. Sometimes they mix it with other natural mulches like dry leaves or grass clippings. In winter, the mulch works like a warm blanket for crops like garlic. Unlike store-bought mulch, straw is cheap, natural, and good for the earth. If you're tired of too much weeding and watering, using straw like the Amish might be a great idea. Hack 10. Eggshells for blossom end rot prevention. If you've ever grown tomatoes or peppers, you might have seen a dark spot at the bottom of the fruit. That's blossom end rot, usually caused by a lack of calcium in the soil. The Amish have a simple fix for this: crushed eggshells. They save eggshells all year, rinse and dry them, then crush them into a coarse powder by hand or with a food processor. They use the powder in different ways, sprinkling a small handful into planting holes for tomatoes, peppers, squash, or eggplant, mixing it into the soil near growing plants, or adding it to compost as a long-term calcium source. Some Amish gardeners even soak crushed eggshells in water for a few days to make a calcium-rich tea for watering seedlings. Eggshells release nutrients slowly, so they act as a natural slow-release fertilizer. They also help improve the soil and can keep slugs away when sprinkled on the surface. Hack 11. Watering with Epsom salt for magnesium boost. Amish gardeners don't just water their plants, they also feed them important minerals. One of their favorite tips is using Epsom salt to give plants extra magnesium and sulfur. Magnesium helps plants make chlorophyll, which is how they turn sunlight into food. It also supports flowering and fruiting in crops like tomatoes, peppers, and roses, and helps plants absorb other key nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. The Amish method is simple. They dissolve 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in a gallon of water and pour it at the base of plants every 2 to 4 weeks. Sometimes, they also spray it on the leaves during flowering to give plants a quick boost. They begin this routine early in the season to help seedlings grow strong and continue it through summer for better fruit. It's not just for vegetables either. Flowers also benefit, with brighter colors and healthier leaves. Hack 12. Following the moon for planting schedules. The Amish still plant by the moon phases, and it's not just a superstition, it's an old farming method based on how the moon's gravity affects water in the soil and the sap inside plants. During the new moon to the first quarter, called the waxing moon, sap flow is strong. This is the best time to plant leafy vegetables like lettuce, kale, spinach, and herbs, as well as other crops that grow above the ground and have seeds on the outside. From the full moon to the last quarter, the waning moon, the sap starts to move downward. This is the ideal time to plant root crops like carrots, beets, onions, and potatoes, anything that grows below ground or has seeds inside. Hack 13. Building cold frames from salvaged windows. Amish gardening doesn't stop when the weather gets cold. One of their smart tricks is using cold frames made from old windows and scrap wood. These small, box-like structures work like mini greenhouses. They trap heat and protect young plants from frost. The Amish build a simple, rectangular frame using leftover wood, then attach an old window on top as a lid, sometimes with hinges. They angle the frame slightly toward the south so it gets more sunlight. Cold frames are used to cover early seedlings, leafy greens, or plants that stay in the ground over winter. This setup allows them to start planting earlier in spring and keep harvesting into late fall. Lettuce, spinach, radishes, and arugula grow really well inside. In deep winter, they insulate the sides with straw or even old quilts, extending the growing season without using electricity. You don't need a big greenhouse to grow like the Amish. Just an old window, a few boards, and a love for gardening. If you live in a cold area or want to start planting early, a cold frame is a simple and smart solution. Hack 14. Practicing intentional crop rotation. Crop rotation sounds simple, but doing it right needs planning, and the Amish are very good at it. They divide their gardens into different sections and follow a 4-year planting cycle. In the first year, they grow legumes like beans and peas. These plants add nitrogen to the soil, getting it ready for the next crops. In the second year, they plant leafy greens and brassicas such as lettuce, cabbage, and kale. These need rich soil but can attract pests, so careful spacing and timing are important. In the third year, they grow root crops like carrots, onions, and potatoes, which need less nitrogen and help loosen the soil. In the fourth year, they grow fruiting plants like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. These are heavy feeders and need soil that's rich and full of compost. After year 4, they start the cycle again. Hack 15. Natural vinegar spray to kill weeds. Weeds are a normal part of gardening, but the Amish don't use chemical herbicides to deal with them. Instead, they use a natural weed killer made from simple household items. Their recipe includes 1 gallon of white vinegar, 1 cup of table salt, and 1 tablespoon of dish soap. They mix everything together and pour it into a spray bottle. This solution works best when sprayed on a sunny day directly onto the weeds, not near your crops. It's great for walkways, gravel paths, and spaces between garden rows. The vinegar and salt dry out the weeds by pulling moisture from the leaves, and the dish soap helps the spray stick. Because this mix kills any plant it touches, the Amish apply it carefully, keeping it away from vegetables and flowers. This method is especially helpful along fences, edges of raised beds, and between stepping stones, places where it's hard to pull weeds by hand. The result is a neat, clean garden area without using harsh chemicals. Hack 16. Wood ash as an organic fertilizer. In Amish homes, where wood stoves are used for heating and cooking, there's always plenty of wood ash, and they never waste it. That's because wood ash is a natural source of important nutrients like potassium, which helps plants flower and produce fruit, calcium, which is good for crops like tomatoes and cabbage, and other small nutrients like zinc, iron, and manganese. The Amish use wood ash in a few simple ways. They sprinkle a thin layer on the soil around heavy feeding plants like tomatoes, garlic, and broccoli. Instead of testing with tools, they watch how the plants react. Wood ash is also good for balancing compost that is too acidic, especially if it has lots of fruit scraps or pine needles. This is a great example of how the Amish reuse everything and avoid waste. So if you burn wood for heat, don't throw away the ashes. Use them to help your garden grow. Hack 17. Rustic trellises made from branches. When you walk through an Amish garden in summer, you'll see peas climbing up small trees, beans wrapping around willow branches, and gourds growing on handmade frames. The Amish don't buy trellises, they make them using branches. They collect long, forked branches from tree trimming or after storms and use them to build simple structures like teepees, A-frames, or fence shapes. These homemade trellises are natural, free, strong, and they look beautiful in the garden. They also help save space by allowing plants to grow upward, which is perfect for Amish gardens that produce a lot in small areas. Many Amish families even teach their children how to build small trellises during spring, turning it into a learning activity. So the next time you trim a tree or find fallen branches, don't throw them away. Use them to build something useful for your garden.
Hack 18. Always grow flowers to attract pollinators. To the Amish, flowers are not just for decoration. They are an important part of a healthy garden. They plant flowers that attract pollinators like bees and butterflies. These flowers also bring helpful insects such as ladybugs, add color and life to the garden, and improve the overall balance of nature. Some of their favorite flowers include calendula, which attracts hoverflies that eat pests like aphids, nasturtiums, which are pretty, edible, and keep away squash bugs, marigolds, which help stop beetles and tiny worms, borage, which bees love, and zinnias, which are bright and bloom for a long time. Amish gardeners often plant these flowers right between rows of vegetables like tomatoes, beans, and corn. Some also plant flowers all around the edges of their gardens to create a space full of pollinators. In spring, it's common to see Amish children gently placing flower seeds by hand around the raised beds. Hack 19. Strong scented borders to repel pests. In many Amish gardens, garlic and onion plants grow all along the edges. They're not just there to be harvested, they also help protect the garden. Their strong smell works like a natural fence that keeps many bugs and animals away. Other helpful border plants include mint, which keeps ants, aphids, and mice away; chives, which help protect roses from black spots; lavender, which scares off moths and flies; and thyme, which stops cabbage worms. The idea behind this is simple. Most pests use smell to find plants they like. By planting strong-smelling herbs and vegetables around the garden, you confuse the pests and make the garden less attractive to them. Hack 20. Walk the garden daily. Never disconnect. The most powerful gardening trick used by the Amish is the daily walk. Every Amish gardener starts or ends their day with a quiet walk through the garden. They don't carry tools or baskets, just take time to observe. During this walk, they look at the color of the leaves, check the moisture of the soil, watch for any signs of pests or disease, and notice if buds are forming or flowers are opening. This walk helps gardeners feel more connected to their land. It creates a rhythm and helps them understand what the garden needs and how it's changing. Some even talk gently to their plants, not because they think it's magic, but because they respect the life they are helping grow. This daily walk brings everything together. Without it, the other gardening tricks wouldn't work as well. If these Amish gardening hacks inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more timeless tips. Try just one of these methods in your garden, and you'll see the difference. Until next time, keep it simple, stay connected to the earth, and happy gardening.